You're listening to The Paul Higgins Show, where ambitious tech consultants come to unlock their potential. After 18 years as a global leader, I launched several businesses, culminating in a successful exit. I'm sharing what I learned, plus what's working now from mentoring tech consultants. You will hear leaders within our industry to help you build a business you love that allows you to do what you want. If you are looking for immediate cash flow wins to fuel your growth, go to our free ebook at paulhigginsmentoring.com/roadmap. Building rapport is one of the most essential components of a sales call, but many get it wrong and waste vital time in finding information they should already know. Hello, this is Paul Higgins and welcome to episode 545 of the Paul Higgins Show. Just you and I today on a solo show. People buy you and then the technology. Otherwise, your SaaS AE, whether it be Salesforce, NetSuite, you name it, wouldn't put three partners before a client. And you know the cheapest isn't always the winner, right? You've won deals where you've been more expensive, but it's because you've been better. The client wants to know the best solution, which includes the best people with the best skills, experience, and tech chops to get the job done. But how do you build rapport to share your skills, experience, and tech chops? One way is the questions you ask in the first sales call. Some previous episodes covering the topic of sales calls is 506. I talk about how to do role plays. 386, I give you advice on how to structure a sales investment call. And 322, I talk about adding value to sales calls. Now, if you're a member of the Tech Collective, you can also get my sales call playbook in the resources section there in Slack. If you aren't a member, go to paulhigginsmentoring.com/TC and join today. And as you're a valued podcast listener, you can get a month's trial for $1 if you enter the code TC1USD. So that's TC, the number 1 USD. Now let's dive into the building rapport by using AI. I'll use a live example from last week's sales call with a ServiceNow partner. The AI tool I used is called Perplexity. So I'll spell it out. It's PERPLEXITY. So that's perplexity.ai. So I'll put a link in the show notes because I know I've got that strong Australian accent, especially if you're from another country. I am using the free version on mobile and desktop, and you can upgrade to their paid account. It's $20 USD, which is about the same as ChatGPT. I'm not quite sure the real benefits, and the more I use it, the more I'll get to know that. But at the moment, I'm just using the free account, so this is based purely on the free account. So to protect the client's identity, I will call the client Bob Large. So I was in back-to-back calls and had 5 minutes to research Bob before the call. I asked Perplexity, who is Bob Large? ? That's all I asked. It searched multiple sources, and it shows you the sources that it searched, including YouTube, LinkedIn, Wikipedia, ServiceNow, and other sites which were specifically listed that Bob had posted on. It then gave me about a 300 to 500 word executive summary, and I didn't then because I didn't have the time, but what I've gone and done now is go back and compare that to Google. And Google gave me about 100 words, but limited facts. It wasn't very good. And then the links, I got all the links below, but I had to go to each link to find out more information. What I loved is Perplexity seemed to do that all for me, right? So they did all the hard work of doing all the research to all the links and bringing it back in as an executive summary, which was fantastic. I then asked Perplexity a couple of follow-up questions, and this is all on my mobile phone, and this is all within 5 minutes before I had my meeting with Bob. So I asked any videos of Bob, and it gave me a link to several videos, with the first showing post 11 months ago by Bob on his LinkedIn. In it, I found out he was once a musical artist, right? But what I absolutely loved is that video. It would have taken me forever because, LinkedIn, you can't go through and search by post. It's near impossible. It went and did that, found the most relevant video post from his LinkedIn, and then gave that to me. So it was fantastic. And, basically it talked about his musical career And that was fantastic. Then I asked a couple of other follow-up questions. Like I asked how many people were in his team, and it basically gave me a fantastic answer, and it matched what LinkedIn had when I went to it afterwards. So just a reminder, you're listening to episode 545 of the Paul Higgins Show, and you're just with me today on a solo. So how did this help me to build rapport with Bob? Let me explain. We exchanged pleasantries on the Zoom call at the start, so it was great. We had video, and I could tell he was a little apprehensive. Now, it wasn't anything major, but it was just something normal when someone is really waiting for a pitch, right? Because, Bob quickly probably read my profile. He knows that I help tech consultants to build their business, and he's probably thinking, well, where's this going? It's going to be a sales pitch. So I asked him an open question about his musical career once we'd sort of exchanged those pleasantries. But I had some very specific information that was given to me by Perplexity. And just remember that is Perplexity, Perplexity. Now, I've got no affiliate with Perplexity. I just found it from a YouTube expert on AI, and have taken it from there. So I could see the joy on his face as soon as I mentioned this specific information about his musical career. Right, his body language immediately changed, and it was as if I had known him for a while. And all of a sudden, he started to open up, right? I could see it right in front of my eyes. And usually I would find a way to ask about his hobbies and his family before I asked about his business. It's my way of building a rapport at the start of the call. But starting with his hobbies, and in particular the information that I'd got from AI, changed the dynamic and allowed me to build immediate rapport. Now, admittedly, Bob owned his own 50-person ServiceNow consulting practice and was more receptive to this approach because it was an owner. And because I used to be an owner of a tech consulting company, I think he understood that. So he sort of opened up a little more. So, using this with senior executives from large enterprise, it might just take a little longer for you to seed it into the conversation. But ultimately, people buy from people. Right? And having been an ex-director of Coca-Cola, I know that when people approach me as an individual and not someone that was an executive in a large corporate, it made a huge difference. So as we talked, he opened up about his family, and I was using Perplexity to ask better questions about his family. It was quite incredible, just there on the mobile phone. He gave me his wife's name. He was giving me questions, and I could sort of build off that, given the information. And also his son is a very successful athlete, and I could also learn from that. It was all built, right, on this initial rapport that I'd created, helped by AI in less than 5 minutes. The conversation went really well. I asked my standard sales questions once we'd built the rapport, and I found out, where he was, where he wanted to be, and what was getting in his way of achieving it. And I really felt there was a deeper understanding of the more significance behind it because I'd built that rapport, right? I really felt like I wasn't getting how I've done a podcast, I can't remember the episode about the 5 whys, but it's sort of drilling down into the real root cause. I felt like we got there quicker because the rapport was stronger. So take a minute and think about your last sales call. Out of 10, what rapport did you build, with 10 being the highest? So if it's below 7, could you use AI to lift your score and ultimately close more deals, right? Now, it doesn't matter what AI. I'm using Perplexity.ai. As I've said, you might use ChatGPT, Genius, whatever you're using, right? I just found Perplexity was brilliant because of the way that it gave you all the links to the sources, which you could dive in further, but it gave you the executive summary and the follow-up questions. It was much better than what I've found personally from ChatGPT. Once again, I'm not sponsored by either of them. Love to be, but I'm not. So I've now built an SOP where my team can go and research each potential client before the sales call and put it in my sales CRM. And then also in Perplexity, I can go and ask additional questions to the prompt, even while they're on the call. So if you're listening to this and wondering how to introduce the information into a call, I can definitely help you, right? You might think, okay, Paul, this is all great, but I always get a bit nervous on a sales call. I'm not good at it. I don't ask the right questions. Certainly reach out to me and we can discuss the role playing, which I covered in the previous episode. So if you go to 506, you'll find that. So ready, set, go. So check out Perplexity, Perplexity. The link will be in the show notes. Perplexity.ai. And as I said, I'm not an affiliate. Test it with past sales calls. See how close it gets, right? What did you glean from their hobbies, etc.? And what did Perplexity come up with? I'm sure it's not perfect, but just compare the before and after, give you some confidence to use it, and then build it into your sales habits. Okay, I'll see you next time on the Paul Higgins Show Solo Edition. Time for action. Let me know what you implemented from the show. I promise to respond. Plus, get the Tech Consultants Roadmap at paulhigginsmentoring.com/roadmap.